well, it's the inexplicable nature of performances, isn't it? And there's nothing. There was nothing to suggest that Chris Chester was doing a particularly terrible job in terms of motivation or whatever. But yeah, sometimes you can't always, detail exactly what's happening in kind of relationships between coaches and players, and why is you look at Lamb. Why was Lamb able to get things out of players last year that he absolutely can't get out of them this year? It's just it's magic, really. Sometimes, and it's really difficult to understand it. But yeah, I'm sure Wakefield will be trying to hang on to poaching as long as they can, because whilst you've got it, you want to try and bottle it, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, shall we move on to the first of the two televised games on Monday? That was Castleford versus Wigan. I got off the driveway and onto my couch. I didn't make it off the driveway into Castleford, but tinge of regret around that. No, I made a good call for my mental well-being. But Wigan was 6-0 up at half-time and finished 22-0 winners over Castleford. James Child was the referee, and that result did wonders for that aforementioned mental well-being. Cass made 104 more metres and made ground at 0.7 metres per carry, better average gain, but Wigan with a more clinical side. How the fuck can we say that about this Wigan side? But 3 breaks to none, 4 tries to none, and 6 fewer handling errors from the Wigan side. Zach Hardacre, 192 metres. Liam Marshall, a try and 141 metres. Brad Singleton, a try and 122 metres. Joe Shorrocks, 48 tackles. For the losing Cass side, one player who definitely stood up and stood out was Nathan Massey, 218 metres for the hard-working forward. Daryl Alforts, 202 metres. Michael Shenton, 5 tackles and 163 metres. He enjoyed returning these kicks, didn't he? Got himself some metres there. And Peter Matauti, 161 metres. Disciplinary out of this one. Liam Watts of Castleford got a grade B tripping charge, and that carries a 2-match penalty notice with Watts, because obviously he's always going to be at the top range. He's never out of trouble. It was on Singleton in the opening set of the match, and I remember at the time thinking that looked a bit weird, but Singleton kind of fell straight into being swallowed up by other defenders, and they never replayed it or anything. No one made out of it. It was just the first set. It was just setting up the play sort of thing, and no one really... it wasn't as blatant as I think his trip was in midweek that he got the yellow card for, which I haven't seen any match review panel notes on, so I don't know if they've even reviewed those matches, because I couldn't see any disciplinary updates out of them. Hold on. No, there is some on the website. Liam Watts was cited twice in that match. Let's have a look at what they were. Oh. Player is planted as his foot, and opponent goes over the knee/upper leg in the process of making a tackle. So they're kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt on that one not being a trip because he planted it, whereas in this one his foot was still coming out on Singleton. But clearly he likes a trip. So...
and the football gods will catch up with you.
Yeah.
Actually.
Exactly. Either which way, for the 2 instances, he probably deserved 2 games in total. Maybe.
There you go, you see. Told you.
Maybe 1 for each. But yeah, into the fan views.
Yeah, so Tom Andrews says...
No, he says HMS.
It's HMS. Sorry. HMS pissed the league, ironically sunk by HMS sinking ship. Role reversal at Cass couldn't score in a West Hull brothel. And Wigan playing for each other and looking semi-competent. Interesting end to the season ahead. I would put focus on the word semi-competent because I think Wigan were semi-competent in this match.
I think at Magic Weekend we need to get to the bottom, and I hope Paige is there too whilst Tom has to explain himself, because he lives in West Hull. In fact, he doesn't. He lives west of West Hull, but even so. Carsten said Cass had the ball, Wigan won, and some really good hits in the first half. Mark should be happy, and Rob pissed by the league. Sadly, I missed both yellow cards, so no comment on that. I thought both were fair in the moment of the game. What looked like a forceful swinging arm to the head that the match review panel have said came off the ball, but I still think his upper arm hit him directly in the head. And then one that looked like a below the knees tackle, although the match review panel have said his initial contact was on the thigh. I'm not convinced and think it was fair yellow.
Yeah, it didn't. On the review, that one, it didn't look good, did it? In terms of the kind of, it looked like it was a late kind of attack on the legs. So
I'd say it wasn't forceful, and the rules say you can't do it with force, but I think it was across the line of forceful enough to be punished.
Yeah. It's not just pulling the legs together so that the guy falls over, is it?
It wasn't you sort of go down to the floor to put arms around the legs. It was you hit the legs on your way to the floor.
Exactly. Yeah. So I had no issue with either card. White Pie says, never in doubt. Still very clunky in attack, but we finally scored a try. Still think Lamb needs to go. Well, there you go. But positive signs.
Dr. Bob Phillips says, Cass really hate us, don't they?
DG Knight
they hate themselves after Monday, Rob.
Yeah, they bloody should do. DG Knight says, shocking performance from Cass. I'm not sure if it was nerves or the fatigue, but fair play to Wigan on a deserved win. Both yellows seemed reasonable too. Why didn't Cass take the two in front of the posts, 2-6 and get the ball straight back? Hope Cass get back on form for magic.
If they got the ball back, they just would have dropped it.
Yeah,
and we all know what going for two when you're 6-0 down does. Did you not watch Wigan Saints the other
way? Yeah. They just lost 22 too, to be honest.
Fatboy Rob said, shite.
Jen K, a bit more erudite, and says, this was the sort of response I expected after the Saints game. A solid performance with everyone working for each other. We won't do anything in the playoffs, I don't think, but at least our season won't slide into oblivion now.
Very well summed up, Jen. Matt Speakman got in touch. He said, imagine being nilled at home. My team would never. So many errors, but good to get the win. Secured a playoff spot there, really, with our other results going our way. I doubt we'll make any waves, but we'll be there. Finally got some clarification on Lamb's future just in time for the secret fan forum. I mean, it wasn't a secret because they invited fans to get tickets, but yeah, only 120 fans were able to attend the capacity of the room it was being hosted in, the Wigan Fans Forum on Tuesday night. I didn't go.
Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought it was for secret fans.
No.
Because I was going to ask, did Cass have such a thing? Because I'm like...
I mean, you know, you're the chairman. But
I can't tell you.
But no, I do hope that something actually comes out of it in terms of they filmed it. So once it's edited and any of the things that were kind of said in the round that maybe don't need to be wider shared, then for either just because it was a waste of time question or something that might spark unnecessary drama, then I would imagine we'll get to see it on Wigan TV. That's my hope, Matt, about that. But yeah, that's a total side issue. But I do think this result allowed them to confirm the Lamb departure in time for the fan forum, so that the fan forum wasn't just, are you going to sack Lamb for 2 hours?
Yes.
So yeah. The game itself.
Yeah, I mean, my notes were quite brief. Basically, Cass abysmal, Wigan basically competent is how I've summed it up. In the sense that, from my point of view, Wigan were doing all the things that you hope that a rugby league team does in the nicest possible way, and they were doing them fairly well. As it happened, they were playing against a team who didn't look like they could string two passes together all night, and that obviously was a massive help, I would say. Cass Cass really helped. Cass really did help you in this one, I would say.
I'm not going to disagree with that. You know, Wigan's first try wasn't exactly an exciting piece of play, was it? It was a
individual piece of play,
and it was very straightforward, like literally, and really poor defence. And that had come kind of around Cass dropping final passes or putting second to last passes onto the floor or what have you. And
a terrible kicking game as well. Absolutely diabolical kicking game.
Oh, the short kicking was woeful, wasn't it? It shows what a difference McShane offers in that part of, you know, if they're not winning quick play of the balls, which the forwards, as hard as they worked, weren't really winning, because Wigan defended really well and covered for each other really well and showed great togetherness. But then you need the cuteness if you're not getting the speed, and the cuteness wasn't there from Richardson, Milner, or O'Brien / Turner, because they did a bit of a swapsy around, didn't they, in the second half to try and get things going, and none of it worked.
No, it didn't. No, to be fair to Powell, he did try some different combinations. He didn't just keep doing the same thing. But yeah, you basically moved Turner out of his position where he's been shown to be quite dangerous this year, and he looked, he had the dropsies same as everybody else playing in the halves.
And I think, well, he'd already shown that when he bombed a potential try. Although I think maybe he was put off a bit by young Halsall, who was outstanding. He doesn't drop a ball, does he? I mean, I'm saying this now. He might have a mare at Magic, but
no, I've also
he's
got
so
that.
safe.
I thought he was incredibly good under the high ball. I thought both of you wingers were very good.
Yeah, I talked about it. Huddersfield, the way he did commanded some, but the one where he basically told Hardacre, "No, it's mine," and took it over his shoulder, and then the next kick that went up, Shenton was pretty much tackling him as he was catching it, and he pulled it. He faultless.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought both of you wingers were good. Marshall kind of, keeping the penalty in play. Obviously, his try was a good try. He does look like an old man, though, now. Hair loss will do that to a man. But
yeah, he needs to think about whether it needs to be a 0, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
we're
very much there with him, although we're 10 to 15 years older and a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to say
a lot slower.
I've got the years on him. No, I just thought he looked quite odd running. That's all. He was quick, but he looked quite odd.
One thing I would say is the try that he scored, that breakaway try from the loose ball that he picked up, and there were like almost opportunities for him to do that more, weren't there, early in the game? I think that's that try was a real moment of like cheer, of release, and it wasn't Wigan created anything. They took advantage of something. Yeah. I think after that point, though, what we did see is the Wigan team all of a sudden felt in charge, felt in control, and actually we saw two good pieces of attacking play. Harry Smith's pass. I thought Harry Smith had a strong game, goal kicking aside, in this match, because he didn't just let Hastings do everything, and Hastings didn't himself make himself do everything. Harry got to play a bit more, I think, and I think that was beneficial. But the pass he put out for Gildart's try was really good stuff, and Gildart finished it well. And the tip on in the forwards, that is the stuff that Lamb had done with these forwards, that he'd improved on these forwards, that we just haven't seen this year because they haven't had, I don't know, the confidence or the belief or the whatever, I don't know. So that was positive to see in the last 10 minutes or so, that Wigan actually played some attacking rugby league and it worked.
Yeah.
But before that, it was much of a muchness to what we'd seen before, and we just took advantage of Cass's errors. Yeah.
You can probably see the light at the end of the tunnel, but yeah, you've still got a long way to go to becoming.
Oh, I still think we need the off season.
Yeah. I mean, you're still away from the top 3, I would say.
Shall we go into the game that we've got no doubt the least to say about?
Yes, let's do that. So it was Catalan against Lee, top against bottom, and it finished pretty much as you would expect. 64-0 for Catalan. It was 40-0 at half time. Who was the referee?